So I got some light in here. And I like at least one last thing to say about my withdrawal process. Right now my mom's, I'm guessing, at the Hollywood Casino out in like southeastern Indiana. She said she was going to Indiana with her friend Stacy, and that's where they've went in the past. So I'm just assuming that's where they're going. They're going to have a Hollywood Casino here in Columbus open up in a couple of months. They just opened up the new side of Downs Casino. Kind of sucks though, because I didn't find any information on them opening up a poker room on this huge new edition, and I didn't see it on the schedule for the next edition over the next year, so I'm sure they'll eventually get one though. I think they're gonna use the hell out of those all that money they just invested in those slot machines to turn around and take money away from all the guests over the long run until they start adding side games. Anyways, yeah, about my medication. When I dropped down like a half milligram down to just 2 of these halves a day, it was like way too much for my brain to handle. It was too big of a drop. But now that I'm taking 1.5 milligrams a day, which I will be spreading it out 3 ways, so I'll be, cutting this puppy in half eventually. And yeah, my stepdad, since my mom's out of town, my stepdad's in control of my medication, and he wasn't at the emergency room to hear the psychiatric, not really she's like a mental health representative. She was just a counselor. I'm pretty sure she wasn't a psychiatrist, except place only has like one. Anyways, funny thing is that I felt completely fine, not completely fine, but I felt fine after my second to last drop off. There was a 0.5 milligram drop off from 2 milligrams total a day, and I definitely still felt like the drowsiness of medication and some other side effects, trying to walk around my apartment. And then when I went to the emergency room, the mental health representative told my mom that at this point in time, this was just yesterday too, she said at this point in time there's no way that he's going to be able to do this on his own, and she said I absolutely had to stay at my parents' house for a while, and here I am the next day back in my apartment. Part of the reason is because I was having some bad effects again last night, and then today, the funny thing is after I took my morning dose of just a 0.5 milligram, I felt so drugged from the medication, and I felt so drowsy. I was trying to get out and do stuff, but I was walking around like I was drugged up basically. It's kind of like being drunk, except for you feel more, you don't have this happy feeling that alcohol gives you when you don't get sick to your stomach if you drink too much. You just feel like you're drugged, and everything's your brain's going all slow. And anyway, so what I'm trying to get to is that instead of being on 1.5 milligrams, the, I believe her name is Heather Watson, who wrote the patient handbook on the withdrawal process. She recommends either dropping a quarter of a milligram or a eighth of a milligram at a time. Now, since these are 1 milligram tablets, I do have like a really good see-through pill cutter with a really good razor blade, but so like my beta blocker, I used to be able to cut pills into eighths, but sometimes it would take like 2 tries. So, the only reason I was able to do that is because I had like a boatload of medication that I was coming off of, so I could afford a few mess ups. But right now I just have it would just be a little complicated trying to cut one of these and cut like an eighth. Cut this into half and then trying to cut that half into another half. I'd literally be like trying to like lick up the crumbs if I cut it the wrong way or crushed it and had to get it just right. If I didn't cut that half of a half into a perfect half, I'd be trying to shave off the bigger piece to equal it out. But anyways, I feel like I'm on too high of a dosage right now because I felt so drowsy from a medication earlier, and then about 2 hours ago, when the drowsiness feeling, it literally like went away, and I almost felt like back to normal, which isn't gonna happen for a while, but over a year from now supposedly. But I went from feeling drowsy to feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I did wasn't a whole lot, but I did the dishes, and my fingernails are getting long. I was able to nothing spectacular. I mean, it's spectacular. It's a breakthrough for how I was feeling. I was able to clip both my fingernails, and I was able to play with the dogs, and hope just do some other stuff around the house and my parents. Anyways, let's see. I requested my Navy personnel file like twice. This is funny thing is after the second time around it actually came. I remember when you requested, not all veteran services offices are updated on the address that you're supposed to send the request to. Their forms have the old address. It's actually a few years old. And so when you send that request in, like this happened both the first and the second time, so I'm surprised to even see this disc show up. Anyways, they send you a letter saying, our department or our offices no longer handle requests for Navy personnel records. And they say, but your request has been forwarded to the proper department, and it's like in a completely different state. It's from like Missouri to like, I'm trying to think, I don't know, I can't remember exactly where they forwarded to, but anyways, I expect, sometimes I forget that, hey, it is 2012 and this isn't that crazy. I just assumed that I was going to get a paper copy, and then, I wasn't even sure, because the first time I never received anything, and then that second time I got that same letter. Yep, Tennessee, that's what I was going to guess. Yep, I got my record on CD-ROM, woo! And I always get loaded up with these darn advertisements. Eventually I want to call Giant Eagle and complain, because the closest Giant Eagle is a stinking one town over, 35-minute drive to the east in Lancaster, and you know, there's enough grocery stores in town here, so like, who would want to go to Giant Eagle? I mean, heck, you got a Walmart Supercenter here. And then I'm assuming that my dad, that's funny, my dad cracks me, he always does something to crack me up. I'm assuming my dad's sent something a little late for my birthday. Yeah, it feels like a card. It's like starting to get towards middle of June. June 9th, my birthday was May 27th. Anyways, I'm going to open this up off camera, but on camera I would like to laugh about the fact that there's a couple interesting things. My dad used to never put his apartment number. He used to be like, I don't know if he was, well, he did used to be paranoid. He probably still kind of is. And he used to never put his apartment number. I think this is the first time he's ever sent me something to me where he put his apartment number. He used to always put B. Hankins, but I think it's funny how he like wrote out his entire name, and he goes by Bruce, his middle name, and he's probably gonna kill me one day for putting this online, just because of how he is. Wow, I just noticed that he actually went as far as finding out my extended zip code. That's a first too. And he usually always writes just my full name is Brockton, but I go by Brock. He usually always just writes Brock Hankins. So it's funny that he put Brockton L. Hankins. L stands for Lee. And for the longest time, he, even though he knew I had an apartment, and I'm pretty sure I gave him, well, I can't remember if I ever gave him my address or not, but because we started actually, he had finally gotten a cell phone last year, and we started actually talking on the phone instead of writing. So I don't know, it's just funny that he wrote out like both of our whole names and extended zip code. That's nice of him though. He wanted to make sure that stuff got to me. But yeah, if you look at one of my prior videos, he went like a little cuckoo one day, and instead of Brock, he wrote Bryce, not only on the outside. Yeah, this was this past Christmas. He had written Bryce on the outside, and then there was another envelope that was on the outside of a card, Christmas card. He wrote Bryce on that, and then on the inside of the darn Christmas card, he wrote, it was like one way or the other. He either wrote Brock and then Bryce in parentheses, which, by the way, my name is not Bryce at all. So that was him just losing his mind. Yeah, one way or the other. But the fact that he did it on 3 different things, I don't know if that's paranoia, schizophrenia, whatever it is. It's something, it's just not normal. I don't know, maybe I'm the one who's delusional. Maybe it's just the fact that I haven't been keeping much touch with him over all these years, and I don't know, that's what I want to believe, but anyways, he'll really kill me now for saying something like that. Anyways, whatever, life is life. If you need help, you need help. I mean, I need all the help I can get, and I'm not afraid to ask for it at all. Sometimes I lose it, like this past Wednesday, before I went to the emergency room. On Thursday morning, I should have immediately went Wednesday night, but Oh, but I was out of it, I was really out of it. I don't know. Oh well, enough about my dad and even myself. Try not to make a 20-minute video this time, so until next time.